What's up, my boys? We got the 2018 AMA High Point 3D scan track. So technically, this is actually replicated from the 2018 track, but he just called it 2019 because it's coming out in 2019. So I know that can be a little bit confusing, but this is made by Hunter Root. A lot of you guys know him, obviously. Supercross champ from a few years back. And yeah, I know he's been working on some of this 3D scanning stuff. I know there's a couple other dudes in there helping him out with it and whatnot, but this is where it's at, dog. This is like a whole nother level. Just how the Nicholas Sandbox tracks are. You know, when you get on those, it's just, you feel like you're playing MX Simulator 2 or something like that. You know, it literally is like a 2.0 type feeling. And I don't know exactly what all is technically quote unquote 3D scanned. You understand what I'm saying? Holy hug, bro. Oh, god dang, dude. Sending this Honda to the fucking moon. Losing my voice a little bit, been kayaking all day. My bad, boys. But god dang, that is a hook. You got to land it so perfect, and you have to land it way off to the left. You got to know exactly where you're coming off of that jump face right there. I did actually hit it properly on the second lap. Start jacking around right here. Couple of really big lines on this track right here, guys, that you really got to be knowing what you're doing on a 450. Like, you just barely make it up over something, and if you come up short, you're dead. There's no other way about it. You know what I mean? But this is what I feel like. This is where I feel like we would be at in RF at this point. You know what I'm saying? Can't help but get that feeling. You know, I cleared it there, but then went way too far to the right, and you don't get that actual landing of the little, little raised part that's on the left side of that landing. But basically, what I think would be the absolute perfection track is this sort of look and design and everything, but like kind of like if you mixed this track right here with a, 2015, 16, 17 era RF national track design. Like, if you somehow could mix that and mix the look of this and everything, like the overlay decal of this and the 3D scan nature of all this, if you could somehow mix all of that together, we would be in business, boys. Like, that's really, you start to learn what that would be, right? Because even though this track looks insane, looks so cool, every single jump face you come off of has got a totally different looking decal, right? Because it's actually 3D scanned from the top, so you pretty much have a different on ground decal look every little area you're in, and it makes a difference. I mean, it really does when you're going over jump faces versus, like, MX Simulator has always been where you've got that same decal or very, very similar looking decal over a lot of the track. You don't really get that real variation in the dirt look, like in between within one track, because it's just one or two or three decals kind of layered together. That's if they're really putting in a lot of hard work. It's got two or three layered decals. There's a lot of tracks out there that only have one on-track dirt decal, you know what I'm saying? But when you get this full-blown 3D scanned overlay, it's another level of look right here. And by the way, just letting you guys know, if you download this track on the forums and you're having trouble, like, there's a little bug kind of sort of with it where if you try to get on here, sometimes it doesn't really show it, and it kind of like creates this bit of an effect where it won't load in the actual decal. So if it's doing that on you, I know Hunter Reed actually posted an update. It still didn't work for me with the update. You're just going to have to go in there and play around with your graphics, basically. That's the only way I could get around it. You're going to have to go in there. Basically, what I did is just put my graphics on my MX Simulator graphics to the like standard, the default. I didn't put it on any sort of extreme or anything like that. So that's what I'm running right here. Finally landed that puppy, but couldn't slow down to get back on the track right here. Oh, good God, bro. But you can definitely huck that right there, and it takes some skill, dude. So, but yeah, I can't help but get that thought of, like, dude, you think about what we're running in RF right now and outdoors and how that looks. You can't help but, like, think of how badass that would be to have. That's the one you got to jump that. You got to get right over the top of that, or you're going to do that right there every single time. You know what I'm saying? But I just can't help but get that thought of, like, well, that'll be so badass to have this sort of visual, this sort of overlay decal, but you've got, like, more of that modern day, like 2017 pre-made rut roughness. Not talking about a road, obviously, but just that really cool motocross pre-made rut and roughness era that they had on the MX Simulator, RF Pro Racing, and kind of combine that with 3D scanning, because I don't know, like I'm saying, there's a lot of this track that's going to feel a little bit on the flat side. Like, I don't think the track itself is actually 100% 3D scanned all the way around the board. There's no fucking way, unless this was scanned on like some weird day, off day that's not on the actual pro race day, because there's a lot of these corners don't hardly have any ruts in them at all. There's not really a rut, like it's pretty flat, but there is still a little bit of roughness in some areas and a little bit of, so I don't even know how that 3D scanning shit works, like to an extent to really understand, but I can promise you it's not fully 3D scanned over the entire thing, like every single look of everything, plus every bit of the on-track terrain. I really don't feel like it's to that level, so I think there's been a little, I think it is, like, as far as the look of it, like the overlay decal, I think that is 100% like a looking at the high point track from up above, right? I think they said like however many feet, I don't know if it's like 200 feet or something above the track, or 100 feet or some shit. That's where they were kind of scanning it from. But I don't feel like the actual terrain itself is exactly 100% scanned from the real life track, like to that level. Maybe it is. I don't know. It just doesn't feel exactly like that's the way this track would feel like that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this track would have more ruts, obviously, and obviously on the pro race day it's going to be completely different, but so it depends on which day you got there to 3D scan, I'm assuming, that whole kind of thing. But you can triple right up onto that. But the cool vibe about when they 3D scan something, you really feel like you're getting a 100% identical actual layout of the track. You know what I'm saying? So the feeling between like corner distance to jump distance to the next corner distance to the overall track scale layout distance, all of that has a very, very cool realism feeling to it that you don't really get on a lot of your RF replica tracks and stuff. It's got a really cool, it feels real in a sense, not just from the look of it, but from the layout of it, right? You get a very realistic, like I do think that the layout in the overlay decal is 100% scanned from the track. I just think, and I think it was this way with the Nicklaus Sandbox tracks, if I'm not mistaken, too. Like the actual, there's a difference between the look of the dirt and the decal of the dirt and the actual terrain itself. You understand what I'm saying? I know that can kind of be confusing when you get this extreme level of a overlay decal. Like, for instance, you may look in this corner right here and think there's like 3 or 4 ruts because that's what the decal looks like. But in all reality, it's pretty much perfectly smooth. Not perfect, but she's pretty smooth right here. Like these ruts, they're not really ruts, So I don't know how much that 3D scanning really creates every little inch of raised rut terrain, and you know what I'm getting at? I think it's like, it may do a little bit of it, but then you got to go in there and touch up with it in the actual track editor of the game. I feel like that's how they do it. I feel like that's how Nicklaus did some of his tracks back in the day. Like he would scan something, but then go in there and adjust little pieces and parts and make certain ruts bigger in some areas, which with what he was doing, the reason that was always called Nicklaus Sandbox and all that shit back in the day was he was actually building the track in a sandbox, a small little sandbox, you know what I mean? So he could actually go in there and make little ruts with his finger and shit like that, whereas this is actually high point real life scan track. It's not like a little sandbox scan. You understand what I'm saying? So they're kind of different a little bit in that sense, but it's a whole nother level. I mean, when you get on a track like this, like I'm saying, it's really, really cool. Definitely recommend any of you guys going and downloading this. Obviously, the on-track can feel a little bit weird. I'm not going to sit here and act like this track is just perfect in every way, but it will certainly give you a cool feeling in MX Simulator riding on any of the 3D scan tracks. I don't care what it is. It's got a cool vibe, no doubt about it. Obviously, don't really think you're supposed to be able to jump this all the way, but either way, it makes a really cool skill gappy jump line right there if you can nail it. I needed to hit that jump about 10 more times to really get that line down. You got to hit it perfectly on the left, wide ass open from the corner. Don't jump that first little hump too far because you got to stay on the ground to get more momentum before you jump off of it. A couple of things you got to do on some of these bigger jumps here to really get up over them properly, but like this one, I've learned, which I fell right here. I was way too hyped up trying to hit that jump. I got scared and kind of slid down. I was like, shit. Sometimes when you think about a jump too much, you can't even hit it. You know, any of you motocross dudes know what I'm talking about. Come around a corner and you're thinking too hard about a jump, you can't even damn near get around the corner. You know what I mean? Oh, you got to hate that. I've done that in real life so many times too. Try to get so wide in the corner thinking I've got to, and then I don't even get on the gas, enough in the corner to carry my speed and momentum, and then can't hit the jump. You just got to do it. You can't think too hard about it. It's kind of the whole key of everything when it comes to motocross, but definitely want to be more on the left, and then you're going to have to be on your brakes as soon as you land off of that puppy. But yeah, I thought it'd be cool to come in here and check out, next 3D scan track like this. Like I'm saying, just reminding you, if you do have trouble having any graphical trouble with it or whatever, you're just going to have to go in there and test out different graphical settings. That a lot of times that's really the only solution. And I have some issues with those Nicholas Sandbox tracks when I run like my NVIDIA graphical settings maxed out and do different shit like that and have my MX Simulator settings maxed out. I will get some weird shit go on with those Nicholas Sandbox, 3D scan tracks as well. So it's not just this one. I think when you have a 3D scan track like that, you're kind of more apt to get graphical issues. So all you got to do is go in there and test it, guys. Man, just lower your graphics down. Try what I would do first is try all of your different pre-graphic settings with MX Simulator. It's got like a low setting, normal setting, high setting. I would go through there and try each one of those. Don't forget to actually, when you change that, exit out of the game and come back into it, because it's not actually going to change it if you don't exit out of the game after you make a change like that, right? That can be a little confusing. Just like that with a lot of games, though. You can go there and make a graphical setting and be playing the game, and it won't actually make it till you leave the game and come back. So just a little Spencer Turley, a little quick tip to you there, boys. You might be like, go in there and change your graphics settings and be like, what the hell's going on? This didn't change anything. Well, you got to exit out of the game first there, bud. So yeah, either way, this Galaxy gear with this Honda, fucking sick. I don't know what it is about that red and perp skirp on the Galaxy. That looks so good together, dude. Man, that purple Galaxy vibe, I don't know what it is. It goes good on any color bike. Seriously, goes good on a Kawasaki. You kind of get that green-purple alien vibe. Goes good on a Honda. Really cool look like that. Goes good on Yamaha. You kind of get the blue in there, and you get a really cool look with that Perp Skirp Galaxy. Looks good on KTMs. Looks good on Husqvarnas. That purple with that white. That looks sick, too. I don't know of any other gear that can go with so many different bikes like that. So many different, it literally goes with everything. I mean, I don't know how that's even possible, but it does. I think it's because there's no bike, manufacturer out there that's making a purple bike, right? Obviously. So you're not clashing in any kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas most other gears either have a little bit of red on them or a little bit of blue on them or a little bit of orange on them. So you'll be clashing in some kind of way with something. But a lot of times with the Perp Skirp, you're not going to clash in any kind of way. So that's a cool thing about it. But either way, dudes, the trick to hitting this big line right here, like I was saying before, you got to go to the right. And what you want to do is come around this corner and don't jump up off of this too hardcore. Because then, like I'm saying, you'll lose that on-ground momentum. You want to kind of jump. You obviously need to be on the gas in the corner, but you want to be back on the ground as quickly as possible. Full blast throttle. Hit that grass-ass jump up there to the far right. And I think that's going to be your shortest distance, right? This is where I came up short. I was way too far to the left when I came off this jump face, right? There is a lot of truth to, angles of jumps. And being able to, that's a big trick to jumping in MX Simulator is the angle you hit a jump, because you can make a jump, 10, 15 foot less distance just by hitting it on a different part of the jump face or having a different angle that you're jumping it and stuff like that. Really cool going from the dirt jump and then having that realistic looking grass jump and having some of this realistic looking grass on the sides of the jumps and stuff. And it's not just the on track, it's the off track being 3D scanned like that gives it a whole nother vibe. I mean, literally, let me get right through here. You feel like you're on the real life damn track is what it is when you get down in here. Just having that, so many different stuff going on decal wise here with that overlay. It is just, there's no way you could replicate this look with standard decals on MX Simulator. You just couldn't do it. I mean, this is so far on another level. You can see the trucks and shit that it got scanned. Probably got Hunter Root's dad over here or some shit. But, oh, God. But either way, so yeah, that's, when you get like down here in this vibe, I mean, it looks awesome, dude. There just ain't nothing else to say to that. Obviously, the actual terrain on track itself, as far as like ruts and corners and roughness and some jump face design stuff, can be a little bizarre. Like I'm saying, this downhill right here is one of the only sections I really noticed a whole lot of roughness on. Most of the other straightaways and stuff pretty smooth coming into the corners. I mean, you got a little bit over here, kind of, but not a whole lot. So I really don't know how much was 3D scanned and how much was actually created in the track editor and the combination of it. I just don't know how all that works. And I'm not going to sit there and act like I do know how it works, because I don't know. But I just have to rate what we have here. You know what I'm saying, boys? So that's pretty much all I can do. But certainly on another level of visual vibe and all of that, you can hit this one corner right here on the far outside and jump up. You can just barely get the speed where you jump double this right here down this hill, and you can actually get the speed to pert near triple plumb over this, and you land right on the top of that. You bounce right on the top of that. I think I did that right there. Let me see. Oh yeah, dog. Look at that. Oh my God. You like barely make it. Check this out. This is so sick right here. Like, whoop. Just barely, bro. And if you don't jump that, you're going to literally lose like 2.5 seconds, because you have to double, and then you're hitting this huge ass face where then you like bounce up and you lose all that from air time. You're kind of like skipping a jump right there in a way when you triple that, right? So it's pretty cool. Another fun jump when you come around here and hit this wide open, jump this plumb out to Texas. You can jump all the way down that hill, and then you hit that roughness. Pretty cool. It's got like a single jump right there. Just the whole little vibe of this feeling when you get on this track, it's certainly something new and different, something you don't just feel every day on an MX Simulator track, so it's certainly worthy of checking out. I'm going to give this puppy like a goddamn 9.65. That's kind of where I'm at, or I don't even know, like a 9 overall, you know what I'm saying? I think it could definitely have a little bit more on the on-track side to boost it to that 10 level. And I think Hunter Root's just kind of testing this shit. I don't think he's even claiming this to be like a fully finished track or whatever. He's just kind of testing some of the 3D shit and, scanning, wanted to make something like this. So definitely cool either way you want to slice that apple there. But as she stands, I'd probably give it really, really close to a 10. I just don't want to give it a 10, because I think it is slightly lacking in certain little areas. Because, I mean, it doesn't really have, like, the pro rut line type crap that I would think it would have. It's certainly more of, like, a smooth. I don't know if he scanned this on a local vibe ride day or what the hell, or if it can even scan the actual, to that extent of that. I have no idea on the actual terrain itself. Dude, that is such a jump. Holy God, look at that. Wrap. Right up over, dog, just floating for decades. Oh, God. You gotta love it, dude. I love big-ass jumps. If there was anything I ever loved in my life, it is some big-ass jumps on a dirt bike. Like, good Lord, bro. So, yeah. 9 overall difficulty. If you're hitting some of these big daddy lines, she's going to be more like hard difficulty. But if you're going to hit the pussy lines, then it's probably like medium, easy, something. It's kind of pretty much how a lot of tracks are. If you go for the big daddy hucks, then it's pretty hard. I mean, you're going to have to be pretty much a pro to hit that big jump, this big quad over like I was hitting, and actually land it and ride it out. You're going to have to be pretty much a pro to get the speed on a 450 down this thing and hit this grass jump and triple plumb over. And you're going to damn near going to have to be a pro to get the speed through this, to jump plumb over and triple that. Those 3 lines definitely, I think, you really got to be on your A game to hit that kind of stuff. But other than that, everything else pretty chill, pretty simple. Kind of funny how he's got like the little things across the track. You can tell they're like just on the decal and not an actual object. Little things like that, I certainly think he could have put on there and made it more of a full experience. But you can't hate on the graphical look, man, and that overlay decal. It's on another level. You know what I'm saying? It's on a new level. There ain't no doubt about it. So, either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes. Don't forget, go add me up on Steam, Snapchat, Instagram, all that crap. Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. I'll add you back. Either way, boys. Peace.